Hello and welcome back. Warrior Kitten Wednesday with Johnny Tiger and
Kitten.
Kitten. Come on, you gotta sound like a warrior. Your brother laughing at us. Her
No.
brother says she needs to sound more badass on video, and it's just kind of difficult trying to get her. She sounds really badass when she's not on camera. Y'all really loud.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
But since it's a warrior kitten, today we're going to do something a little bit more goofy looking and a little bit more fun. But it's extremely useful. Let me explain why it is useful. What we're going to do today is we're going to do a little bit of bumper car. I'm going to grab one of these bigger kick shield and I'm going to just try to run her over. Why is this important? Because a lot of time, my own younger brother is a good example actually. Uh, when I was a teenager, I actually taught my younger brother every martial art trick I knew, every variation, every like he worked hard on learning all my stuff. But in the end, he still wasn't able to be a fighter. He wasn't very good at defending himself, or like whenever he got into a fight, he got in trouble. Uh, because he had well, we all know about the fight and flight instinct. Well, for my younger brother, it's all flight. As soon as someone raised their voice or even tried to head toward him, he started to back away. And then next thing you know, he backed himself into a corner. Uh, so, a lot of time when we see people getting aggressive, they'll walk straight at you. Yeah? Uh, it's a very common intimidation tactic. They'll like chest up and they'll walk into you. And a lot of people, understandably, when that happens, back away. They keep backing up. Next thing they know, they're pressed up against the wall, nowhere else to go. And this is very dangerous because now the person is very confident. This is another thing about this is a fight psychology in self-defense. If your attacker is feeling really, really confident, they are going to attack you. There's no way out of it because now they are feeling so good about themselves they don't even think of you as equal human being anymore. They just think of you as a fun, living punching bag or video game opponent that they can practice their superb fighting skill on. They can beat the snot out of you and no problem. So you don't want to give them that kind of idea when before the conflict, getting to the real physical part. When they are trying to intimidate you, you don't want to provoke them, but you do not want to let them intimidate you. Uh, so when a person is walking towards you, this is part of our sensitivity training. Uh, when the person is, and the reason I'm using this kick shield when we actually start is because I don't want us to headbutt each other. So I want a little bit of buffer between us, and I don't want her to kick me in the groin. I wouldn't put that past her. So normally, for now, I'm just going to use my hand on her shoulder, right? So you guys can see my point. When the incoming force comes straight in, you want to hold your position for one split second, and then you take a large back lunge step back with one foot. And as you take that step, you want to pivot your body in that direction. That will dump the person past you. Okay? If the incoming force is going this way, then all you have to do is turn your body. Yeah? If it's going to your left, then you turn your body to the left. Incoming force is going to your right, then you turn your body to the right. Okay? Very simple. It's not rocket science. It doesn't take any big motion. So, if I walk into her and she turns, I naturally step past her, especially if I come in really aggressively. Right? This is extremely useful for those of us who are blind or visually impaired because sometimes we walk into people. And Kitten will tell you guys that she actually feel me do this technique a lot when we are about the house. Sometimes we're coming down the hallway and we just like almost walk into each other and like, oh, sorry dear, and continue walking. I just slip right past her. Huh? So it's very useful to know this technique. So we're going to have Kitten step a little bit to the left, and I'm going to start all the way back here. I'll grab my big thumper. I'm going to start walking.
I didn't have my arms
Well,
up.
I did say I was going to start walking. Let's start again. There we go. So a lot of people will stumble back one step in the initial contact, especially if it's coming in hard. That's okay. That's okay. As long as you recover, you don't trip and fall, and you remember your technique, it's fine. Right? This time we're going to come in at a slight angle. And she turned, and I walk right past her. Huh? Okay, back up a little bit.
Back up a
Yeah,
little bit.
that's fine.
Okay.
And here we go. We're going to run Kitten over. There we go. And she successfully leads me past her. There's a little bit of Aikido philosophy in this stuff.
Oh.
A lot of Aikido philosophy very, very useful when you know where to incorporate them. Uh, so, obviously, if you just let the person pass you, that's not good enough. Right? That's not good enough. That saves you for that split second. But the person will just keep turning, keep forcing you. Eventually, you run out of room. So, we're not going to be that passive. This time, when Kitten deflect my incoming force past her, she is going to step behind me and get me under control. Yes, this is a very simple head and shoulder control used by law enforcement sometimes. I teach it to some of our law enforcement students. Very handy stuff. Okay, well, take a slow look at it as we go. Okay, back up one step. Okay, so I come in, boom, she let me pass her, and as you guys can see, well, actually you guys can't really see, because she's behind me. Uh, Here, let me turn this way so you can see her. Okay, so as I go past her, she slipped, she let me slip past her left side. At the same time, she put her hand on my left sleeve so she know where I am. And she stepped behind me, and as she stepped, her right arm creates a bar behind my head. This is so I can't headbutt back. I can't headbutt back. Uh, and if I try to struggle, all she has to do is push my head forward and I lose my balance. And her left arm slide under my armpit. In this case, there are several ways to do this. Sometimes you can just grab the person's lapel and lock this in. If I try to get aggressive with this arm, all she has to do is lift her elbow, and now I'm totally off balance, especially with one of her arm behind my head and one of my arm extended out. Now, obviously, if the guy is super tall, you won't be able to get this one in place. So if the guy is super tall, then you want to, once you thread the arm through the armpit, under the arm, you get the underhook, you want to fish for the wrist so rather than the lapel. So, yeah, you get the wrist, you try to get a hold of either the wrist or a finger. Once you get the finger, it's pretty much show over. Right? Uh, from here, there's no very little way for me to get at her. Even if I was to suddenly use my free hand to pull out a knife and start stabbing, I can't really stab across my left shoulder. I can try to stab behind, but she's going to feel that because she can feel my right. You can feel my right shoulder moving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like whatever my right shoulder is going to do, she can feel it. So she can actually keep herself really safe from stabbing at this point. Eh? Much later, once we get more advanced, I'm going to show you guys the takedown from that position. I use that a lot. Um, but while you hold a person from behind in that position, you are pretty safe, relatively speaking. I mean, the person might try to kick you, but you can kind of feel that coming too. Okay, so we're going to look at that again, but this time I'm going to pass on your right side so they can see your movement. Okay, walking in, passing, her hand is on my sleeve, sliding right under the arm, left arm barring across the back of my head. I try, okay, I'm gonna drop the pad. I'm trying to elbow her. Oh, now my arm is caught up there. Now, technically, I'm supposed to be like, heavier and stronger. But at this point, I don't have a heck of leverage. Like, eh? Oh, if I try to struggle a lot and muscle her around, she planned her weight, and right now she's being pretty nice. Her left arm is just on my neck or behind my neck. She's not really doing anything with it. You guys can imagine that left hand can easily come across, grab the face, grab the
Yeah.
eyes,
Yeah.
grab the ear, anything,
Yeah.
right?
I was gonna say my elbow is right over your
The
spine.
elbow is right over the spine. She can actually uh, probably put me in a wheelchair if she got mean about it, right? So, first takeaway from today is don't meet incoming force with force and don't let it push you back. Turn. And once you turn, you take control from behind. Slide
Yeah.
under, one arm slide under, one arm behind the head, and then you lock in. And from here, you can try to wait for help to arrive, or later, I'll show you guys how to put the person down from that point. Right? When you practice with a partner, be very careful with that arm behind the neck business. Right? It's easy to hurt someone
Yeah.
in that area.
Yeah.
So don't hit them with that. Right? When you slide under, one arm slide under, the other arm to cup the back of the head, and then rest the arm on the back like this. Right? Some guys get really, really rough, and that tends to piss me off because it's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, that's the cervical spine. That's not. It's not very protected
You know,
in
there's
that area
not
of
much
the neck.
padding there, and
Yeah.
I believe I remember seeing that in a diagram the cervical spine is like really skinny. It's not really big at all. So yeah, that's what holds your skull on your neck.
Yeah.
Okay, so like
Yeah.
take it easy with that.
Yeah.
Right? The same thing. Guys who get caught in this position, don't be a pain in the butt. You know, if the person have you in this position and you still want to be a pain, they just push down, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, you're injured.
Yeah.
Right? So have fun, be careful, practicing with each other. By the way, I look a little bit like a Russian sambo martial artist in my shorts and gi. Uh, and she's stolen my Team Canada uniform again. Yeah, she likes that.
Yes.
Especially this room is really cold, and
Yes.
that uniform is kind of warm. So anyway, that's it. I'll be back later for some Wisdom Wednesday if I have any wisdom later. Uh, Gotta get ready to go to work. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Goodbye.
Now we can try to walk Kitten into the camera.
No.
Yeah, I think I just backhanded the camera.
Oh no.